In this video, we're going to look at a specific application of Newton's third law, which is conservation of momentum. So if you don't remember, the third law is the one that said that if object A applies a force on object B applies an equal and opposite force back on object A. So if I have two cars that are going to crash, right? So here's car 2, here's car 1. The force that car 2 pushes on car 1 has to be equal to the force that car 1 pushes on car 2, right? Because of Newton's third law. So let's look at what happens to the motion of these cars when these things interact. So we talked a little bit before about how like the mass and acceleration determines that, but if we take two things and crash them, knowing that these have to be the same, we can come up with something really useful, which is the idea of conservation of momentum. So let's start with the force from car 2 is equal to the negative force on car 1 because these are in opposite directions, right? So equal in magnitude, but I put a negative sign because they're opposite. And force is mass times acceleration. So the mass of car 2 times the acceleration of car 2 equals the mass of car 1 times the acceleration of car 1. And I know that acceleration is rate of change of velocity, right? And that's final minus initial. So instead of writing final and initial, because I have two cars, I'm going to use primes. So I'm going to say v prime minus v over delta t, right? Where prime means final and no prime means initial, right? Okay, so let's substitute this in. Right, so there's my equations. Mass times acceleration equals negative mass times acceleration. So these two things, when they interact, they have to hit for the same time. There's no way one could touch the other one longer than the other one touched that. That doesn't make any sense, right? So I can get rid of delta t. Okay, so let's multiply this in and then do some math. So follow me with this. I multiplied this in, right? And over here, this negative sign makes this one positive. So if I move stuff around, I combine all my finals and my initials, and I get the final momentum of car 2 plus the final momentum of car 1 equals the initial momentum of car 1 plus the initial momentum of car 2, which is the same thing as saying the sum of the final momentums has to equal the sum of the initial momentums, right? This is the idea of conservation of momentum, right? This works for anything. This is two cars crashing, but it could also be a person throwing a ball. It could be you walking down the hallway and somebody running into you, right? It's all the same. No matter how you do it, the forces have to be the same because of the third law. If you work it out, the final momentum has to be equal to the initial momentum, which makes solving stuff really easy, right? All you have to do is look at like a before picture and an after picture. So let's do a few examples. Okay, so here's your first example. Right, I have these two things that are going to crash into each other, and I want to know how fast one of them is going afterwards. So let's draw this out. The best way to solve these is to draw it out. Draw before and after. Right? It doesn't have to be art, but draw it out so you're not just solving equations, right? You can see what's happening. So I'm going to draw a before and an after picture so that we can look at what's happening. Okay. So here it is. So before, I have these two things coming at each other. They're going to crash. Afterwards, this one is still going 1 meter per second the same way, but I don't know the velocity of this one, right? So I can't put an arrow because I don't know which way it's going. But I'll show you a trick at the end. I know by looking at this that this one has to be going this way, right? And I'll show you how I figured that out at the end, right? So let's go write an equation. So momentum before equals momentum after, right? So I'm writing momentum initial equals momentum final. We're going to write a big equation and then just do our math and solve for what's what. So this is object 1 and this is object 2, right? Just randomly pick which one you want to be 1 and which one you want to be 2. So now let's go plug in. So notice I put negatives for these two, right? Because I'm calling positive this direction. Remember, momentum is a vector, so you have to pick which way is positive, right? So this is a positive number and these are all going to be negative numbers. So now let's go solve. All right, so I got that my final velocity has to be negative 2.5 meters per second. And because I called positive this way, I know that this has to be 2.5 meters per second this way, right? Pointing that direction. Okay, so how did I figure that out with the direction before I even solved it? So if you look at the momentum before and the momentum after, they have to be the same, right? So here, this one is 24, right? 6 times 4. Going this way, because momentum is mass times velocity. This one is 2 times 4, which is 8 going this way. So 24 this way, add 8 that way. The vector sum, right, they're going to end up subtracting because they're opposite directions. So This one's bigger, so I'm going to end up with 16 pointing this way. That's my momentum before. So I know over here, this has to be 16 pointing this way, right? It has to be, right? If you're in this universe, that's what it has to be. So this one is 6 pointing that way. So see how this is 6 pointing that way and this is 16? It's not there yet. This one has to be 10 pointing this way. It has to be, right? In order for this to work out. And if you look at it, I solved for 2.5 and 4. So 4 times 2.5 gives me 10, right? So an easy way to kind of tell which way things are going to go, conservation of momentum always works. Okay, so this example, now you have something sitting still and a person's going to jump into it, right? So there's a boat and there's a person on this dock and the person is going to jump into the boat, right? So again, let's draw a before and an after. So same concept. Let's say before equals after. Okay, so let's write an equation. Okay, so before, this thing's not moving, right? So this has 0 momentum. So it's basically just this one. And then afterwards, it's the sum of the two momentums, right? So it's just m1 v1, which is just the person, equals the sum of these two masses moving this velocity. So it's m1 plus m2, right? Because they're stuck together times the final velocity of the whole thing, right? In this case, when you have things stick together, it makes it easy. You just combine the masses at the end because they're all moving together, right? So now let's plug in and solve. All right, so again, I plugged in, right? I didn't have any direction changes, so I don't need any negative signs, right? The sum of the two masses was 220. Divide over, and I get the final velocity of 1.66, which makes sense. So here, my initial momentum was 85 times 4.3, which is 300 something. So I know over here when I combine the two masses, because the mass went up, the final velocity has to be smaller. Okay, so here's my third example. This is an example of what's called an explosion, because in this case, you're going to start with something that's not moving, and then the two things are going to separate, right? So let's draw this problem out. So I have an astronaut, they're at rest, right? Him in a tank, and he's going to push it apart, and the tank is going to go flying one way. The astronaut's going to go flying backwards because of conservation of momentum, right? So if you look at this from before to after, here's my before. My total momentum is 0 because nothing's moving, right? So that means that afterwards, my momentum must be 0, right? Because conservation of momentum. So what that tells me, right, in an explosion, it's easier instead of setting the before equal to after. You know the before is going to be 0. So it's easy just to say the momentum, in this case going this way, has to equal the momentum going that way. So the momentum of the astronaut has to equal the momentum of the tank, right? They have to, because they're vectors and they're going to go opposite ways and they're going to end up canceling each other out, because when you add the two, they'll come back to 0, right? So I'm only going to write an equation for this part that says the astronaut momentum equals the tank momentum. So it's going to look like this. So my astronaut's velocity is 1.9 meters per second. And again, because I started with no momentum, I'm just solving for the after, right? So I know if the tank went this way, the astronaut's velocity has to be going this way, because my total momentum before was 0. That means after, my total momentum must be 0 also. So an explosion is probably the easiest one of these types of problems to solve, because all you're doing is using the after and saying that those two momenta have to cancel each other out, right? But if you want to solve any of these, all you have to do is look at the type of problem and see what it is. It all falls into one of 3 types. It's either a bouncing collision where they hit and bounce, it's either one where they stick together, or it's one where they start and they separate, right? So if you can set up the before equals after equation, then solving it is just a matter of doing algebra.